All right, let's get to day 4 of the Hunter Biden trial. Well, day 5 with the jury selection, but I'm doing day 4. So, Hunter Biden's daughter Naomi testified Friday in his federal gun trial about visiting her father while he was at a California rehab center, telling jurors that he seemed to be improving in the weeks before he bought the revolver in 2018. Like I said yesterday, when did he relapse? Nobody is giving us a timeline. They're just saying he was using drugs then, here he was using drugs here, so he must have been using when he bought the gun. But nobody is telling us how long when the relapse happened. I hadn't seen my dad in a long time, and I knew he was in a rehab facility there. He reached out, she told jurors softly, explaining that they met at a coffee shop, along with his sober coach. As she was dismissed from the stand, she paused to hug her dad before leaving the courtroom. Aww. The defense began calling witnesses shortly after federal prosecutors wrapped up their case. Hunter Biden's attorney, Abby, I'm not sure, Lowell, started by calling another gun store clerk who was there when the gun was purchased, raising questions about what he saw as inconsistencies on the form. He also questioned the owner of the shop who allowed the sale to go through using Hunter's passport, though it did not include an address as required. Oops. Then he called Hunter Biden's daughter. In October 2018, the month Hunter Biden bought the gun, Naomi traveled from Washington to New York in her father's truck to move her boyfriend's belongings. Hunter drove Joe Biden's Cadillac to New York later that month to retrieve his truck, leaving the Cadillac with Naomi. She told jurors she didn't see any drug paraphernalia or evidence of drug use. He seemed great. He seemed hopeful, she said. But prosecutors showed Naomi's texts where he didn't respond to her for hours after she messaged him about switching cars. Seriously? Are we going to do the toxic male thing of you must respond immediately to a text? People do shit. They're not just sitting by the phone waiting for a text to come through. At 2 a.m., Hunter texted Naomi asking where the keys to his truck were and whether her boyfriend could meet and swap vehicles. Right now, she responded. Do you know what your father was doing at 2 o'clock in the morning and why he was asking you for the car then? Prosecutor Leo Weiss asked. No, she said. Weiss read out to her a text message from the time when she responded, I'm really sorry, Dad. I can't take this. When court broke for lunch, and as Hunter Biden prepared to leave, he motioned to the first row that was full of his family members, including First Lady Jill Biden, who traveled back from France for the proceedings. The First Lady took Hunter's hand and held it until they got to the door. Okay, as for that text message that, I'm really sorry, Dad, I can't take this. Context would be nice. I mean, I know he's implying that Naomi did indeed know that her father was still doing drugs, but how do we know that that's what she meant? I'm really sorry, Dad, I can't take this. Could just simply be the fact that he's texting her at 2 in the frickin' morning. We don't know. We do not know what the context is here. Jurors were sent home for the afternoon after the defense had no more witnesses, and Lowell said he was weighing who else to call. Though previously he said the president's brother James would take the stand and he was in court, so I guess they're not going to use James. Interesting. The trial will resume Monday. The week's proceedings have been largely dedicated to highlighting the seriousness of Hunter Biden's drug problem through his highly personal testimony, all in an effort by prosecutors to prove that the president's son lied on a mandatory gun purchase form when he said he was not illegally using or addicted to drugs. Jurors heard earlier in the week from Hunter Biden's ex-wife and a former girlfriend who testified about his habitual crack use and their failed effort to help him get clean. They saw images of the president's son, bare-chested and disheveled in a filthy room, and half-naked holding crack pipes, and they watched video of his crack cocaine weighed on a scale. Prosecutors say the evidence is necessary to prove that Hunter, 54, was in the throes of addiction when he bought the gun and therefore lied when he checked no on the form that asked whether he was an unlawful user of or addicted to drugs. Lowell has argued Hunter did not think of himself as an addict when he bought the gun and did not intend to deceive anyone. Again, not what the question said, but okay. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden worked to walk the line between president and father, telling ABC in an interview that he would accept the jury's verdict and ruling out a pardon for his son. Earlier this week, he issued a statement saying, "I am the president, but I'm also a dad. Jill and I love our son, and we are so proud of the man he is today." As well he should. I mean, it's just disgusting how many people, treat the fact that Joe Biden loves his son as some sort of a weakness on his part. Biden is in France this week for D-Day anniversary events. Jill Biden, who attended court most of the week, will return to France for a state dinner. Hunter Biden has been charged with 3 felonies: lying to a federally licensed gun dealer, making a false claim on the application by saying he was not a drug user, and illegally having the gun for 11 days. He has pleaded not guilty. He had hoped to resolve the gun case and another separate tax case in California with a plea deal last year, the result of a years-long investigation into his business dealings. The deal had him pleading guilty to lower-level charges that would have avoided the spectacle of a trial so close to the 2024 election. It fell apart after Judge Mary Ellen Noriega, who was appointed by Donald Trump, questioned unusual aspects of the proposed agreement, and the lawyers couldn't resolve them. Hunter Biden said he got charged because the Justice Department bowed to pressure from Republicans who argued the Democratic president's son was getting special treatment and who have escalated their attacks on the criminal justice system since Donald Trump's recent conviction in New York City in a hush money case. And how much you want to bet that if there was a plea deal done with Donald Trump that was a sweetheart deal, that these Republicans wouldn't have batted an eye. They would not have said anything about it. It's unclear yet whether Hunter Biden will testify, but jurors have already heard his voice. Prosecutors played lengthy audio excerpts in court from his 2021 memoir, Beautiful Things, in which he wrote about his lifelong addiction issues and spiraling descent after the death of his brother Beau in 2015. The book, written after he got sober, covers the period he had the gun, but doesn't mention it specifically. All the more reason why he should take the stand, because he could give details that he didn't put in the book. Like when he was declared sober and when he relapsed. Because that's a huge, huge piece to this puzzle. Is when he was declared clean and sober and when he relapsed. Because if he relapsed after he bought the gun, Well, then he technically wasn't lying on the form, now was he? But we do not know. Nobody is telling us when he was declared sober and when he officially relapsed. Prosecution is acting like even though he was in a rehab facility, he never actually got better. So, seriously, when did he relapse? And the only person who can tell us this is Hunter. Now, granted, he would have to, if he had relapsed before he bought the gun, obviously then he can take the stand because it's either perjure himself or plead the fifth. Either way, not a good look. Lowell has said Hunter Biden's state of mind was different when he wrote the book than when he purchased the gun, when he didn't believe he had an addiction. You know, he keeps saying that as if he wrote the book when he had an addiction, as opposed to when he was officially clean and sober. The fact that he keeps emphasizing that, kind of says that, yeah, he was using, but he didn't think he was having a problem. Still not good. He pointed out to jurors that some of the questions on the firearms transaction record are in the present tense, such as, are you an unlawful user or addicted to drugs? And he suggested Hunter Biden might have felt that he had a drinking problem at the time, but not a drug problem. Alcohol abuse doesn't preclude a gun purchase. The reason law enforcement raised any questions about the revolver is because Hallie Biden, Bo's widow, found it unloaded in Hunter's truck on October 23, 2018, panicked and tossed it into a garbage can at Jansen's Market, where a man inadvertently fished it out of the trash. She testified about the episode Thursday. She eventually called the police. Officers retrieved the gun from the man who inadvertently took the gun along with other recyclables from the trash. The case was eventually closed because of lack of cooperation from Hunter Biden, who was considered the victim. If convicted, Hunter Biden faces up to 25 years in prison, though first-time offenders do not get anywhere near the maximum, and it's unclear whether the judge would give him time behind bars. He also faces a separate trial in September on charges of failing to pay $1.4 million in taxes. And again, like I've been saying in every video, I'm pretty sure that if they do not give him not just jail time, but the maximum, the Republicans will yowl about some sweetheart deal or how he got off easy or some such nonsense. Anyway, that is the end of this article. So with that, I will see you guys in the next video.